5 stars. A short story in 5 reviews. The Pembrokes were a blight, a pair of stubborn, tangled weeds in the otherwise manicured garden of our neighbourhood. Their lawn was a mess of brown patches and invasive thistle. Their house a peeling monument to neglect. But it was the noise that truly bothered me. The constant, grating arguments that bled through my walls day and night. A waste of life, I thought. A complete waste. I knew a project of this scale required the right tools. I started online. The first purchase was a pair of work gloves. Black, heavy-duty synthetic fibre. They promised no smudges, no prints, which is critical when you're dealing with delicate work. You don't want to make a mess. They even had a tiny, focused beam of light on the back of each hand. Perfect for twilight tasks. I tested them in my own yard one evening, the 2 little lights dancing over the soil. I just hoped the Pembrokes didn't see the beams bobbing in the dark. No need to make them suspicious. Next, a solution for the core problem. I'd tried dealing with invasive species before, but some are just too resilient. You have to go for something systemic. I found a highly concentrated, fast-acting compound online, agricultural grade. The reviews were glowing. 0% survival rate. I read that and felt a sense of profound peace. The delivery was discreet. And the application, even more so. A few drops in their evening pitcher of iced tea left so kindly on their porch railing. The speed was the most remarkable part. No fuss. No one even noticed. But then comes the problem of disposal. You can't just leave rotting matter out in the open. It's unsightly and it attracts pests. I invested in a professional-grade woodchipper. It was expensive, a real scream, but it was the only way to properly annihilate the remains. That thing could tear through thick branches, dense roots, anything you fed it, really. It reduced everything to a fine, uniform mulch, with nothing recognizable left behind. The noise was a problem, of course. It roared like a jet engine. I had to wait for the weekend, that dead spot in the mid-afternoon when everyone else was out, to get the work done. The Pembrokes' immediate neighbours were old, but they weren't deaf. With the bulk of the detritus removed, it was time for the groundwork. I'd never owned a good shovel before. The one I bought had a sharpened edge that sliced through the earth like a knife. It severed thick, gnarled roots with a satisfying thump. Their backyard was a challenge, but the fiberglass handle was a dream. No blisters, even after hours of excavation. I had a lot of digging to do, and I had to get it all done while the old couple next door were visiting their grandkids for the week. 2 rectangular holes, perfectly symmetrical, deep. The final touch is always the most important. It's what separates a chore from a work of art. I found a nursery that specializes in rare roses. I chose a cultivar called Crimson Requiem. They were expensive, but the color was a magnificent deep ruby, almost black at the heart of the petals. Devilishly beautiful thorns guarded every stem. I spent the rest of the week transforming their blighted yard. I laid down the mulch I'd created. I carved out crisp, clean beds. I planted the roses, 2 of them, right over the plots I'd so carefully prepared. When the old neighbours returned, they gasped. They couldn't believe the transformation. I just smiled and told them the Pembrokes had hired a landscaper before leaving on a sudden, extended trip. They'd wanted to surprise everyone. I was overjoyed. The Pembrokes were absolutely stunned. They're sitting out there now, in the garden I made just for them. So peaceful, resting beneath the towering ruby petals, finally enriching the soil. Absolutely 5 stars.